Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. So I've been gone for about a week now. There hasn't been much that I've been like, I really need to talk about this. The last thing I covered, I think, was the Bradbury news. And that was the last huge news coming out. Of course, there have been a lot of quotes from the coaching staff, and I'll talk about some of that here today. But I wanted to kind of recap day 6 of the OTAs. It's not 6 days in a row. This is just the 6th OTA. And I'll go over, this is Jordan Renan's recap of what happened at OTAs, which is a good recap. It's pretty much everything thrown all into one of the highlights from today's practice. So first off, let me just say this. Practice is practice. That's one thing. So these aren't games that are being played. This is practice. And not only is this practice, this is literally practice for practice. This is OTAs. This is not a big deal at all. Anyway, I've gotten through that. So let's move on. Saquon moved around a lot, which is something that I'm really excited to see because Pat Shurmur, he had Saquon out there. He either split him out wide or he had him in the backfield, which is a lot better than what Jason Garrett did. A lot better. Saquon needs to be in the slot. Saquon needs to be in the backfield. Saquon, I mean, I don't care if you line a dude up at tight end. Line this dude all up over the field. Have him running all kinds of routes from his running back position, from the wide receiver position, from the slot. Have him just doing everything, confusing the defense. Have him line up at fullback, or, kind of like, halfway between where the quarterback and running back would be. Have them line up everywhere. So I loved to see that. I love to see that. It shows that we're following up on what we're saying, from Brian Daboll's standpoint of this is going to be a creative, we're going to utilize guys to their strengths. So that was really good to see. Daniel Bellinger, he has been very involved. And a lot of people have been writing off Daniel Bellinger. I don't know why. In my mind, Daniel Bellinger is tight end 1. In a lot of other people's mind, he's going to have to go through Ricky Seals-Jones. They think that some other guys are going to be in front of him. I think that Daniel Bellinger has enough wide receiver kind of traits. Not that he's a dynamic receiver, but I think he has enough receiver kind of traits to be your starting tight end. And he's shown that he's a willing blocker and he has the frame to do it. Why not throw him out there? Ricky Seals-Jones can come in and be that red zone target. But right now, Bellinger has the potential to be just as good a receiver, in my opinion, as Ricky Seals-Jones. So why not let him do it? So I'm glad that he's been really involved here. I'm not sure if Ricky Seals-Jones is healthy or not. I just don't have that information. But I'm seeing things about Daniel Bellinger. So that's very, very, very important. I think that he's going to be tight end 1. I think that he'll be a key part of this offense as far as the tight end position goes. Darius Slayton beats Adoree Jackson for a long touchdown. That's what Darius Slayton does. Surprising to see Adoree get beat because he usually doesn't get beat deep. But again, this is practice. It's literally practice. So I'm not going to take too much out of that. That's why I kind of put more stock into Saquon moving around and Bellinger being involved, because those are things that are scheme oriented, that are, who's going to play where, who's going to play where. Those things are more helpful than just who makes a play on who. Adoree Jackson got a pick 6. The wide receiver fell down. What else is new? And then there was a fight between Corey Cunningham and Quincy Roche. So that's the conclusion of Jordan Renan's tweet. That's pretty much it. There was a mental fight in OTAs, which is kind of strange. There's no pads. There's no anything. Other things that I noticed from just seeing reports today, Daniel Jones had a really nice throw. It was kind of wobbly in the air, I'll admit, but he had a really nice throw to Wan'Dale Robinson, who made a nice catch at 5'8", going up over top of Aaron Robinson and snatching the ball out of the air. Really nice play on Wan'Dale Robinson's part, I would definitely say. I think that's Robinson on Robinson crime right there. So really nice play from him. Really well-placed ball from Daniel Jones. And that was your big highlight of the day. The Darius Slayton highlight wasn't on tape, so that was your big highlight of the day. Another highlight there, or not a highlight, but something that I noticed was Kayvon Thibodeaux was on the bike. Also, there was another cornerback. I think it might have been Jared Williams. Not 100% sure on that. But Thibodeaux was on the bike. He had on a red jersey. He is injured to some extent. They're probably just being cautious. They're saying that someone threw him on the ground in last practice. I'm not sure how to feel about that. I don't know why we're throwing each other on the ground in OTAs. I'm not sure if that was Evan Neal or Andrew Thomas, but we shouldn't be throwing people on the ground. But it looks like Thibodeaux is going to be okay. It looks like it's just a small kind of precautionary thing, but he is on the bike because someone threw him on the ground. He probably wasn't even prepared for that in OTAs to get thrown on the ground like that, but he's on the bike. That's something I noticed. Other than that, let's see if I remember seeing anything else. Haven't seen anything on this guy, Kadarius Toney. Didn't really see much about him. Also, Kenny Golladay didn't have on the red jersey, so he's not listed as an injured player anymore, or as a guy that you just can't touch because he's just coming off of an injury. Everything from that perspective is looking good. The wide receiver health looks the best that it's looked in a long time because we always have the entire room injured. So hopefully these guys can continue what they're doing. Hopefully they can continue, making plays in OTAs. I don't know if this is the last OTA, but hopefully this offseason they can build that confidence. DJ can get the ball to these guys, build that rapport. You actually have healthy wide receivers in the offseason to gain that rapport with. Again, I think preseason is when Kenny Golladay got injured, or he got injured in training camp. He didn't get any preseason time with DJ, and it showed. They weren't really in sync. DJ threw a lot of red zone targets to him that were way too high or were just off the mark. It just seemed like they just weren't on the same page. So I'm excited about Golladay being healthy in this offseason, then being able to get those reps in the offseason, early on in the offseason, and I'm hoping that these guys can continue to stay healthy. Please continue to stay healthy. I just don't get how the entire room is always hurt. Other than that, Wink Martindale had an interview today, and I'm not pretty sure it was today. I didn't get to listen to the Dayball interview, but Wink Martindale, and I don't know if it's Ryan Dable or Ryan Dayball. Brian Dable or Brian Dayball. I'm not sure, but I didn't get to listen to his interview. But Wink Martindale talked today about having an aggressive defense. He wants to set the tone for the offense, which I think is music to my ears. It's completely beautiful. That's what our philosophy was with a guy like James Bettcher, but he just didn't follow through on that. And Pat Shermer was the head coach, so that kind of controls what you can do. But Wink Martindale says that he wants to set the tone. He wants to be aggressive. He wants to have offensive minds staying up late at night, wondering where that pressure is going to come from. I love that. I love it. I love it. He also kind of dissed the cornerbacks that were in Baltimore after they got injured, and he said, don't go for DoorDash. Don't go to DoorDash to look for backup cornerbacks, which I thought was funny because we don't really have the best corner depth. I don't think we have the best corner depth. So he might be looking at DoorDash for Baltimore backup corners, but we might have, Uber Eats backup corners. So I'm not sure how strong our backup corners are, but he kind of threw those dudes under the bus, which was, I'm not sure if I'll go too crazy. Everybody knew that they were bad, but he did do that. McKinney got injured. I mean, not injured. Wow. Let me knock on wood here. McKinney got interviewed, and he also said that the defense was very aggressive. Also, Leonard Williams a couple of days said this was the most aggressive defense he's ever seen. He's ever been a part of. Not, objectively seen, but it's the most aggressive defense he's ever been a part of. Same thing for McKinney. He says he likes to be on a defense that can kind of be that aggressive and play free and kind of set the tone. That was the biggest weakness with Patrick Graham, was that his defense did not allow guys to be as aggressive as I think they could have been. Yes, he sent his fair share of blitzes, but he also was a bend but don't break kind of defense. In that 2-minute drill, you're sitting off, playing off of these guys, and we got carved apart over and over and over again because we were scared to blitz. When we did blitz, we couldn't get to the quarterback, which wasn't Patrick Graham's fault. But overall, the bend but don't break defense, it worked as far as limiting those points. But we're also talking about, an offense that couldn't put up points on our end. So you never know how it would have translated. Either way, I really am excited to see what Wink Martindale's aggressive blitzing style defense will do. We'll probably give up some, 35, 40-point games, which we haven't done in a long time. But we also might, really make some plays and really, shut some teams out. So that's my take on what has gone over, what's gone on in the Giants OTAs. You guys let me know what you're most excited for, who you're most excited to see in training camp and in the preseason. And I'll keep my eye out for some more news as it comes. And you guys have a great rest. If you made it this deep into the video, come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily. And during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.